everybody wants to have the wisdom, knowledge, and experience of someone over 50.
Right.
They want the ambition of a 25 to 30-year-old, like, PhD student. They want to have the stamina of a 20-year-old, the sex drive of an 18-year-old, the energy of a 5-year-old, and the memory and the mental capacity of a genius.
What's wrong with that?
I don't know. Basically, they want to be a fictional superhero. Longevity is not about living longer, in my opinion. Or having a longer lifespan. I would say that the most important thing to focus is health span.
Yeah.
Right? How long can you live free of chronic disease? When discussing the ideologies around longevity, there are two specific biomarkers that are really important to pay attention to.
All right.
The first one is known as AMPK.
AMPK. Okay.
Adenosine monophosphate activated protein kinase.
Never heard of it.
There's also another key biomarker that we need to pay attention to, and they're called sirtuins. Powerful antioxidant, but also powerful anti-aging, because it was something that would activate one of the sirtuins called SIRT1. We'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
All right, so AMPK is a critical enzyme. I would tell you that it's kind of like the energy fuel gauge. And what AMPK does is it will turn on certain processes in your body that make energy, but it'll also turn off others that consume it. AMPK is activated by physical stress, okay? So it's activated where energy is depleted. Number one is exercise. When you start to exercise, your body starts shifting or turning on and off switches so that you can better perform under stress, physical stress.
Okay.
AMPK is activated when you are fasting. Now you're starving. See, food is what provides fuel or energy to the body. Well, if you're not getting food and you're in a fasting state, your body needs to activate something to go identify fuel sources that are existing in the body.
So is AMPK down in that state?
No. When you're fasting, AMPK is up.
Oh, interesting.
Because it's looking for other energy sources. Typically, your body's going to operate on glucose, right? Your brain operates on glucose. It's going to use glucose, which, sugars and other things convert to glucose. Glucose is like that fuel. So what does your body do? It activates AMPK, goes and finds fat. It'll burn fat for a fuel source. And if it has to, in the most extreme circumstances, it might even have to burn muscle tissue or things of that nature where it deteriorates some really healthy, dense tissue or something that can be converted to fuel fairly easily. So AMPK is activated.
Okay.
When you're calorically restricting your body, calories are units of energy, kind of, right? That's what they are. So AMPK is not getting as many calories, so it needs to find energy other ways. So AMPK gets activated. Now, it turns off energy-consuming processes in the body too. So things that are overly active kind of shuts them down. Let's say a good example would be stress responses and things of that nature where your body is overactive in a certain way. It's going to turn off growth. So like if your body's in a growth phase where you're growing things, it's going to turn off the energy put into growth. It's going to activate places for energy so that it's more about conservation.
So when you're in an anabolic state.
Yes. It's going to turn off that anabolic state and go into a conservation state.
Got it.
So it's going to go into a survival mode. In other words, it's going to try to save your life. It's going to try to prolong life. In other words, it's going to try to do something to make you healthier in that moment because you're restricting what comes. Now, where that gets activated and why it works really well for people that are on diets is that by activating AMPK, so there's all kinds of different strategies for activating AMPK, but it does so, it starts you burning fat. So it starts to go to places where you're like, I have extra fat, I want to burn that off instead.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. So the longevity impact is that it promotes first the use of fat as energy. It helps to regulate blood sugar. And it also promotes the creation of new mitochondria. So when you get involved in endurance exercise, you're automatically promoting new mitochondria being created. When AMPK is activated, your body does this. So that way your body gets way more efficient in making fuel and energy so that you can energize yourself. Even if you are fasting, calorically restricted, or there's some sort of energy depletion during exercise, you can still go faster longer because you have more energy available.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool. It also initiates something called autophagy.
Okay.
And it's a word that's gaining more popularity today. But autophagy is the process of cell clearance. Anytime you create energy, you're processing something. You're either converting food into fuel or some fuel source into energy. whenever you make energy, there's pollution.
Right.
There is reactive oxygen species or oxidative stress or damage that happens at a cellular level. So when you
It sounds like detoxification.
kind of, yes, because there is garbage collecting at a cellular level. So by activating AMPK, you're promoting autophagy. Autophagy is cell clearance.
Oh.
So imagine if there's tons of pollution at a cellular level, meaning oxidative damage, that cell's not going to operate very well, and you're not likely to produce much energy.
Wow.
Yeah. So
these are things people don't talk about,
No,
because I didn't
they
even
don't.
know it was a thing.
Yeah. True.
It's wild.
But what's really interesting is that everybody's trying to stimulate AMPK by take this pill, take this drug, do this, all these different things. Believe it or not, your body does this naturally. It's a natural biological process. So the question is, why should stimulating AMPK be an important strategy for longevity?
Right.
First of all, AMPK declines with age.
Oh.
So as we age, it declines. So anything that we can do to promote the activity of AMPK is going to be better for you. It declines even faster in a poor diet and a poor lifestyle. So if you eat like crap and you are sedentary, you're going to feel like crap. And you're more than likely going to develop disease and sicknesses and things of that nature because our bodies are made to fuel it the way we eat and be active. But if we don't do any of those well, it's going to be a challenge. It acts as the body's master energy sensor and repair switch. So it's going to modulate energy. It's going to send energy where it's needed.
Right.
It's going to manage the whole energy consumption and manufacturing process, and it just flips it on and off like a switch. Like I said earlier, it shifts the body from growth to conservation. In other words, survival, or in this case, longevity.
Yeah. Cell health. Yeah.
Cell health, totally. Because if your cells are not operating correctly, you can't produce energy, you're not going to be able to do the things you need to do, and you're not going to be as healthy as you need to do, and metabolic illness will set in. All right, so now there's something called sirtuins.
Right.
Sirtuins are a family of 7 essential enzymes in human cells that act as the body's cellular maintenance and repair crew. So I would call these the housekeepers, right? And by housekeepers, they're kind of just helping to maintain cell function. There's all kinds of different things occurring. The cells are aging and dying. They're mutating. There's challenges that happen. Sirtuins are also responsible for cellular metabolic control. So I mean, like how our body's metabolic activities are happening. Like how do we make energy? Are we staying in balance? Insulin, blood sugar, mitochondrial function, reducing oxidative stress. They're looking at all these different ways to be housekeepers of all these different activities that are happening at the same time. They're involved in DNA repair. I would call them cellular guardians.
Okay.
Right? They're there to protect the cells of your body. Because remember, AMPK is using the cell to produce energy and modulating through turning on and off switches, right? So that we can operate efficiently. But sirtuins come in and protect the cell and manage and make sure the cell is operational. Sirtuins are also activated by the same things: physical activity or exercise, fasting, caloric restriction. So they're operating under the same things.
Okay.
So when you look at this, when your body is in a stressful situation, lacking certain nutrients or things it needs to eat, or if you start reducing the calories because maybe you've eaten too much over your life and your body now needs to turn to its own internal resources like fat stores to burn it as energy, AMPK is activated, but so are sirtuins, because these kind of go hand in hand. Now, the longevity impact is that sirtuins can also turn specific genes on or off. Essentially, sirtuins help to identify whether a cell will survive under stress or it'll undergo cell death. Sirtuins are going to prioritize figuring out a way to make sure that the cell survives.
Got it.
It's also going to help decide whether or not it needs to promote new cell growth. Now, sirtuins do have a secret. Sirtuins cannot be active without the presence of NAD. Boosting NAD in the body is really important because that's only going to make this AMPK sirtuin activity
it's incredible.
way more effective, because sirtuins cannot be active without the presence of NAD. But sirtuins are also involved in DNA repair. So the very core of our bodies, the DNA repair, helps control and manage inflammation and metabolic health. NAD stands for nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. And I'm just going to refer to that as NAD for the rest of the time. So what is NAD? NAD is the universal fuel. okay? This is the fuel that fuels the ability for AMPK to do its job or for sirtuins to even be active. If I could snap my fingers and NAD no longer existed in your body, you die.
Wow.
You cannot function without NAD being present in the body. So NAD is absolutely crucial, and we could talk about the values and so forth and what it means to boost it and so on. So.
Okay, so let me ask. So what does it do in the body specifically, and why now are people so hip to it and inquisitive about it and on everyone's radar?
So when you look at something as valuable as NAD, meaning you're not producing energy at a cellular level without NAD. You can't produce energy. So NAD will help you convert nutrients from food
Right.
into ATP. Now, you've heard of adenosine triphosphate, right?
Yep.
You don't have ATP.
Is that the
without
energy
NAD.
molecule?
Yeah,
Right.
It's the energy molecule. So if we were to look at the Krebs cycle, right? And Krebs cycle is a super technical term. I apologize. I'm just throwing it out there. ATP in its cycle will explode, let's say, to create energy. When it explodes and creates energy, it becomes ADP, adenosine diphosphate. NAD takes the food or nutrients from the food that we consume and converts it to ATP so that you can continually recycle this process.
Okay.
Sirtuins have no ability to do anything without NAD.
Wow.
So longevity or cellular health or metabolic health is impossible without NAD.
It all starts here.
100%. So I would tell you that no matter what angle you approach longevity, NAD is always in the mix. So I will tell you things like alcohol. I know we talked about that in an episode already, how there is no safe level of consumption for alcohol. And I know that different people have different ideas. I stopped drinking over 2.5 years ago now because alcohol is very damaging to your health at a cellular level. Poor diet choices.
Yep.
You know, when we eat more processed, refined foods that are not good for you.
Absolutely.
But also certain metabolic functions, like what we already talked about, AMPK and sirtuins, they don't even exist. They can't function without NAD being present.
Okay. Wow. The power of NAD.
NAD is amazing.
All right. That's the key takeaway.
100%.
So, Jason, how does it work in the body specifically, NAD? What's happening?
All right. So I already kind of mentioned it about that whole ATP recycling thing. So it fuels cellular respiration. So we breathe in air.
Right.
Gives us oxygen. Our muscles can perform. We breathe out carbon dioxide. At a cellular level, there's cell respiration as well. There's this whole Krebs cycle, this function where your body is taking inputs, converting them to something, making energy, it converts to something else, and then has to be recycled so we have this constant energy. So that's that whole ATP energy production cycle. And ATP, though, literally is the fuel the body uses for everything, from muscle contraction, brain function.
Literally everything.
Literally everything. It's what we produce as energy at a cellular level. So NAD also is involved directly in DNA repair. So it's a direct fuel source for enzymes called PARPs. P-A-R-P.
PARPs.
Now that's poly, ADP ribose polymerases. And what those are first responders. They're going to go and find something. They're going to detect damage in the body, and they're going to help to mend it at a cellular level. And these damages can be caused by daily stress, environmental exposure, the way we eat, the way we live, all these different things. Everyday stressors include poor diet, environmental toxins. These all trigger PARPs or PARPs. When your body triggers these PARPs or PARPs, it consumes NAD at a very, very high rate.
Oh.
So boosting NAD levels are incredibly important because we're dealing with cellular damage all the time. And if age is a determining factor for them declining, and diet and lifestyle also causes a decline, this is even more of a reason why you need to power or boost NAD levels in the body.
Other than diet and decreasing as we age, what other instances are there that would cause NAD levels to drop in the body?
So stress, like emotional stress, physical stress, exercise, and things of that nature, which are good for you, but in the moment can actually cause damage. inflammatory responses, disease states that cause cell damage.
That makes sense.
Because all the things that would go and detect and mend those first responders, those PR,
it's depleting.
Yes, it's depleting NAD because it's using it as a fuel source.
Right.
Environmental toxins, exposure to poisons, microplastics, all these things that your body's trying to deal with at a cellular level causes your body to react in a certain way. And when our bodies are overactive in all these defense mechanisms, we deplete NAD. And as a result, we can't fuel these resources as efficiently, and eventually we get sick.
Okay, so just to wrap up the NAD piece, just summarize, if you could, once again, what would cause NAD levels to fall? Just quick bullets.
Absolutely. So the first thing is, it's going to decline naturally with age. So that's already working against you because as we age.
Yep.
Everyday stress.
Yep.
Right? Physical, emotional, all those different types of stresses causes your body to be out of whack. Poor diet. We're going to get into diet in a little bit.
Check.
Environmental toxins, everything from hormones, plastics, garbage, things like phthalates and all kinds of topicals and ingestible chemicals, artificial sweeteners, all these different toxins that are just not good for you. And honestly, poor lifestyle choices, not exercising enough, consuming alcohol, smoking, all these different habits.
Okay. All right, Jason. So what can we do specifically to increase AMPK, serotonin activity, and increase NAD levels in the body?
There's these 5 things that I think are crucially important
Go ahead.
to promote longevity. The first is exercise.
Sure.
So exercise can be split between 2 things, cardio and weight resistance. So the idea is that you want to increase VO2 max, meaning what VO2 max is what is the maximum amount of oxygen your body can use during intense exercise, right? So cardio is something we want to do. You want to do at least 2 hours a week. And that can be combined with all kinds of different things. Now, weight resistance. First of all, muscle declines as we age too.
Yep.
Like over age 40, we start to decline, and it has a lot to do with all these hormone shifts in our body.
That's why we need so much protein.
100%. We increase our protein intake. Sickness can also cause a decline in muscle muscle retention.
Yep.
Dieting, all kinds of different diets that are out there. Muscle loss is also known by a term called sarcopenia.
Yep.
Okay, sarcopenia is what's describing losing muscle, whether it be during a diet, illness, or aging, or whatever it may be. Now, muscle is the largest metabolic engine in the body. So if we can maintain and promote healthy muscle retention, it is literally one of the most powerful tools, along with cardio, that you can do for longevity and health and wellness. Because the more muscle you can retain and hold on to later on in your life, the healthier you're going to be. The minimum recommendations, you want to do muscle or weight resistance training at least 2 non-consecutive days per week, including all muscles.
Easy.
Exercise 1, diet. Diet is crucial.
You were an advocate for Mediterranean.
The Mediterranean diet. The reason why I'm an advocate for the Mediterranean diet, but I'm an advocate for modifying it slightly.
Right.
So I want to be very clear, right?
Yep.
Because I don't think the protein content was enough to actually support this process.
I remember.
I think muscle being such a...
You were like, add eggs, add the yolk.
Absolutely.
Right.
So we want to make sure we add a few things, but they prioritize whole plant foods, not boxes. They promote healthy oils like olive oil or omega-3 rich oils, or fish like salmon or tuna that contain a lot of those wonderful omega-3s that are important for cardiovascular, brain health, and so much more.
Yes.
They prioritize healthy protein sources, but I believe that we need to modify. I think we need to have a little bit of a higher protein content than what the typical Mediterranean diet.
So a modification of it. I
totally.
get it.
Remember what we said about stimulating AMPK or activating AMPK and sirtuins, is that fasting or even caloric restriction, but I'm not saying we have to go calorically restricted here, but fasting periods will activate this as well. So I'm a big fan of intermittent fasting from a longevity perspective.
Okay, so we got exercise in the 1 spot.
Yep.
Diet in the 2 spot.
And believe it or not, that's in order of priority.
Of
Exercise
course.
first.
All right, what's third?
Third is prioritize sleep.
Yeah.
Bottom line is this: get about 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep a night. I will tell you, if you optimize sleep, you'll increase energy. You'll extend health span. I mean, you'll be healthier longer. People that don't sleep well don't live well. Your body just needs it. And it's not just the deep REM sleep. It's these different cycles of sleep or levels of sleep so that your body can recover.
Right.
Number 4
Go ahead.
is health screening. Okay? Go to your doctor, get checkups, get your blood work in case there's any indications of metabolic.
1,000%.
Just basic stuff.
Yep.
But some of the things that people don't think of is cancer screening. Like, at a certain age, get a colonoscopy. Getting a colonoscopy at whatever cycle your doctor feels you need to do and what risk level you're at, get a colonoscopy.
Critical.
For women, breast, cervical, pap smears, things of that nature, they need to go in and get those reviews because those are things that can tell you if early detection for cancer is by far and away the best strategy. A prostate blood test, right? PSAs, and also a prostate exam. So blood work and cancer screening, those are really important because being early is the best medicine there. So the only other thing I would tell you from a cardiovascular thing that often surprises people is go get a stress test. Go to a cardiologist and get a stress test. They put you on a treadmill. They hook you up to electrodes. They make sure your heart's pumping right.
I know we were talking about this the other day, but equally with everything else, how about going to the dentist and what they can detect?
Well, honestly, I think it makes sense that we should talk completely just about dental health because oral health is a predictor for all kinds of other disease states and conditions.
Okay, fair.
Now, number 5, NAD boosting. There are lifestyle choices, foods we can eat. There's even supplements you can take. There's interventions that can boost. And I would tell you that the technology and understanding about how to boost NAD properly today gives you so many options. I would tell you, find the strategy that works for you and bottom line, do it.
Yeah.
Look, guys, life comes at you fast, okay? I'm a new dad, all right? With new responsibilities. I mean, I got laundry to do, trying to figure out how this stroller works. I'm changing diapers for days over here. The fuel that fuels me is Aonic fuel. God, that's good.
Your gut works hard every day, digesting, supporting your immune system, even helping your energy. Probuline probiotics are scientifically formulated, shelf-stable, and easy to take daily. Picture yourself moving through your day with confidence, feeling balanced from the inside out. Morning routines, work, family time. Probuline helps keep your gut in check so you can focus on what really matters.
The industry celebrates 3 to 5 times better absorption. But absorption isn't bioavailability. Your bloodstream isn't your cells. BioSneds reaches both. Up to 100 times more bioavailable, clinically proven at a fraction of the dose. This isn't just an improvement, it's different math. Because if it doesn't reach your cells, pure, organic, and expensive don't matter. Look for products powered by BioSneds.
After age 50, you develop anabolic resistance. That means you need more protein to build and maintain muscle. With grass-fed protein from Transparent Labs, I get 28 grams of clean, fast-absorbing protein, rich in amino acids to support muscle protein synthesis. Build and maintain your muscle mass at any age with Transparent Labs.
This is Transparent Labs Creatine HMB. Creatine builds muscle by fueling your output. HMB protects muscle by reducing breakdown. Research shows that this combination can result in 33% greater strength gains and 67% more lean mass than just creatine alone. Start building more muscle with Transparent Labs Creatine HMB.